Okay, so I'm going to walk through the steps of getting oxygen set up on an infant. So for people that were in the NICU and their babies got sent home with oxygen, um, I found this to be a huge pain in the butt, and I was constantly getting like a little bit better at it, but um, it is hard. And as the babies get older and more active, it gets harder and harder to keep everything secured on their bodies. So I'm going to show everything that I learned about how to, get them hooked up and keep them hooked up for a while. But it ain't perfect. So anyway, so maybe people will come in and add more videos because I think, or maybe the companies will make some of these things a little easier to use because honestly, like that's half the problem. And I'm not going to use my own baby. I'm going to use a plastic baby. Okay. So I thought what I'd do is start off with putting on the probe on the foot because that part they don't get that mad about. So, so if I was doing this in real life with a real baby, I would put the probe on the foot first. So I don't know, different medical supply companies may be different. Ours only gives us one per week. And so this stickum, the tape on it doesn't even last one or two takeoffs. And so it really stinks because you're often rewrapping it or taking it if you're only doing oxygen when they're sleeping. Then you'll be taking it off and on. So what I learned is that actually the stickum doesn't matter. So I'll show you how I put it on. Now, if you're in the hospital, so you can pay attention to how the nurses do it. Like say this was the foot and see there's these two little, I don't know, circle parts on the inside that I guess pick up on the signal. And you want to kind of like sandwich them around the foot. So one is on the top and one is on the bottom. And so you can do it on either foot for whatever, I mean, probably because I'm right-handed, the right foot's easier. So I will place it on the foot. And real baby foot's a little longer than this baby foot. And then I wrap this around, not tight at all. I just go around. So in the end, it looks like this. For completion, you want to go back and forth on the sides because if your baby's been doing this for a while, look at their foot and you'll see this is really hard on their skin. And the pressure of it too, you can get a little pressure when like it's tough on them. So I move it up and down on the foot. I've also been told, and I've seen them in the hospital do this on the wrist or the ankle, and I just never found it as easy to get a good read. So I always did the foot. Here would be the other foot. So again, wrap it around and not too tight. Okay, so now you're saying like, okay, there's no stickum left. How is this going to stay on? That's what so in the hospital, they had some nicer ones that were some kind of stretchy stuff. I never have found that. This is what our company provides. These foam wraps. I don't think they're great, but they do work. And I tend to put the square part of this foam, in case you didn't see it, by the way, they're made by the company Massimo. So I tend to put the thicker square part right over top of where the probe is, like the actual little metal part that's picking up. And then I wrap it around, again, not too tight. This really does it. Like this is holding it on, but here's the problem. If your kid has oxygen when they're not asleep, this is going to get pulled and yanked every which way. And as soon as I'll just show you because, you'll troubleshoot this. She'll be like, it's not reading what's going on. Watch what happens. See, as soon as that pulls out, it's not going to read good. So this blue thing is going to help to keep the probe in place, but I tend to use then a sock on top of it. And then I'm not going to go get a pair of pants unless I have a pair of pants in here. I do not. The other thing I'll do is run this up and out of their pant leg so that the little probe is sitting like this. The reason is that this is stupid heavy, this connector. And so as it drags, if you have it coming just off their sock, as it drags around behind them, the weight of it, you'll see that it doesn't even read good because the weight is pulling against the string and it's pulling it off of the skin. So as much as you can, you want to offset the load of this heavy connector and wire. But for sleeping, typically I don't put it out the top of the pants. I just do the sock because they're not crawling as much or moving as well. Let's be honest. Okay, mine's like a year and she's still not crawling. So, if yours is in that boat, don't feel bad. I think a lot of us are in that boat. But when they're asleep, I don't have to do so much because she's not moving around that much. Okay. By the way, related to this, if you're shopping for pajamas, it is helpful to look for pajamas with the two-way zippers because you're always trying to figure out how this thing can get out the bottom instead of like, I remember at the hospital a few times we wore outfits where the thing came out the top, and that was fine when she wasn't going anywhere, but at home, you know, if she's eating or something, that wasn't so convenient. So anyway, pants are fine for the day, but then for pajamas, if you have the two-way zippers, then you can zip it up a little bit and feed it out the bottom. And if the zipper is only on one side, you do have enough length, usually to come up to the top and out the other foot. So keep rotating back and forth on the feet to give the feet a break. All right, so that was, sorry, there's a lot to say. Clearly, there's a lot to say about this topic. Okay, so on to oxygen and stickers. I call these stickers, I forget what their actual name is. I don't even know if the packet says. Oh, I should actually show you the type we got. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't say what these are called, but this is the label that comes with them. Let's see, Tinder. So yeah, these are Tinder grips. We actually order these ones off Amazon because the ones that come from our health company are terrible. And these are still not as good as the ones at the hospital, but I'll show you what makes these less terrible. Okay, so they have a little tab. The ones that we got from our healthcare company did have a tab, but it was clear. See, this is a white tab, so that tells you you're on the right track. But the really important thing is that, see how I peel this down and it catches? It's sort of like a little envelope. And you've got to have the envelope because otherwise, the ones that we got from our healthcare company, there was no envelope. The sticker just was sitting on top of this. So they're like two pieces of plastic. So what happened is that the cord, once you, the cannula tubing, it would come out the bottom. So it is worth finding, if you can find the exact ones that they had in the hospital, presumably they were like this because everyone wants to have a little tab to pull this down. The ones that just have like one little piece. The other thing I've heard is people using all kinds of other things like Band-Aids, just regular tape. Let me go grab the tape. Sorry. People just using regular tape. And I'll say that honestly, there's no getting around these Tinder grips. I just still think they're the best thing for the job. They suck still because none of it's good, but they're better than other things. Okay. Once the Tinder grips are the least bit, so my daughter was, well, put all of her effort into removing these Tinder grips. So her fingers would always be picking at the edges. And once the edges were up, it's like a lost cause. So I probably changed it. We're just came off of oxygen, so I'm doing this before I forget. But once the edge is up, it's like party's over. You got to change it, and you might as well do both sides once you're in this game. So I looked at some products that people had used online to remove the glue, remove the adhesive, or break down the adhesive. I've tried to, I think they both work about the same. They're really stinky. The stink didn't seem to bother her. I kind of got used to it. It's like nail polish remover. And you'd be worried that it would hurt their skin, but actually it's much better, right? You don't want to rip this off like a Band-Aid. You want to use something to get the adhesive off. So just for nostalgia and to smell how this smells again, I'm going to go ahead and open it and show you too how I would remove it. So what I would do is take an edge and try to just work this under the edge. And usually, you know, you want to peel it slowly. They're going to be squirming a little bit. And well, that's why I'm not doing it with my daughter. But, you know, honestly, I at first had people helping me with this. And then I just kind of discovered it was easier to learn to do it with her and distract her and have it just be the two of us. if someone's holding the baby down, I think that just makes the baby think, oh, like it's fight time. And so then they start struggling. And so kind of just trying to sing a little song and distract them, I think is the best route. Okay, now I should have prepared ahead, have some wipes or whatever to wash your hands. So you can either wipe this off with a little piece of toilet paper or a baby wipe, but you definitely also want to put on the skin prep. So the skin prep, it kind of makes makes the skin like a little rough, like it makes a surface between the skin and the Band-Aid. The downside of this is that it means the sticker won't stick as long, but when I started using this, her face was so much happier. And I've also tried like multiple spots. I mean, maybe in the hospital you saw the nurses kind of try to move it around a little bit because especially those super newborns have such tender skin. It's terrible. But honestly, especially for, you know, as they get bigger and older, like this little spot right at the top, like if this is your, you know, if you're imagining putting makeup on or something and like tracing your cheekbone, this spot between the cheekbone and the eye is really the best place to um, put the sticker. And so if you use the skin prep, their skin won't get mad and you can keep putting the sticker in the same place. The other problem is like, you know, their faces are only so big. There's only like maybe, you know, you can only stagger it a little bit. So if you're hurting their skin every time you take the sticker off and on, you're just going to run out of spots. So it's better to just try to be nice to their skin. So let me grab a baby wipe to clean this up. Okay. All right. So we would dry the baby off more nice than this. We would use the skin prep, which is also a very stinky. But you just need to put a bit of it on the spot where the sticker is going to go and it'll dry. And you can kind of feel on your fingers the surface. And I forgot to say, both of these products, the skin prep and the remove, come from the same company, Smith and Nephew, in these little packets. Okay. Oh, poor baby doll. I managed to get a lot of skin prep in her ear. We have a very well prepared ear. Okay, so now we can proceed to put on a fresh, tough spot. And this is I'm about to show you something that like that helped me a lot when I figured it out, which is that for these tough spots, the pulling open this little taco, that first time is really hard. And then the second time, it's much easier to pull off. So if you stick this on and then you go to put the oxygen tubing in, and it's the first time you've opened it, you're going to be yanking at the kid's face, and you may start to pull off the sticker that you just were so careful placing on the skin. So you just put all this effort into getting a new sticker on in the right spot, and then, you know, you go to yank it off, and it's tough. So anyway, before you put these on, stop for a second and open them both once. Give yourself a head start. Okay, so I've opened both of these. Now they're going to be really easy to open and close. And let's see if I can get it off. No, of course not. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that placement is really important. It stinks when the baby moves their head at the last minute, but I can even feel how quickly that tender spot grabbed the skin. Like the skin prep really makes it stick super good and super fast. Okay. Phew. Just remember doing this at nighttime and just feeling like what a saga. Like, okay, I've got the probe on. I've got the tender grips on the side of the face. Now, the very worst part is putting the oxygen tubing in. If you want to ahead of time, I guess I'll just show you the tank because I mean, if anybody's totally new at this, if you're not totally new at this, probably you figured out a lot of these things except for maybe you know, some of these little tricks. But just so I don't forget, I'll just show you what I would do for the oxygen. Check, of course, that the tank is open on the top, because sometimes I would be, you know, out here fiddling with it, trying to get the amount right, and then it's not even open on the top. So make sure it's open, turn it to whatever setting you have, like a 8th or something, and then you can listen and make sure it's going. Shh. Okay. I just remembered, I need to go get more tubing, and also my phone is ringing. So I'm sorry, there's going to be a part 2. I'm going to stop this recording and I'll be back for part 2. Sorry.